All right, so in this video, we're going to look at how to calculate the mass of a wire. And to calculate the mass of a wire, we're going to need a line integral, and we're going to integrate over the density function and then the ds. So that essentially refers to essentially the length of the wire that we're going to integrate over. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is identify our density function. So this is initially in terms of x, y, and z potentially. And then we have a helix in this example that we're going to integrate that helix over. Now, because we have a line integral, we're going to have to convert our function of x, y, and z into a function of t based on that helix that we're using to integrate over. So we're going to find the density function in terms of our path. So we're going to substitute x is equal to 4 cosine t. Since there's no y, we're going to then substitute z equals 1/2 t from our arc length. And when you do that simplification, you end up with this function right here, 8 kt cosine squared t. So the k is a constant from the density function. 8 comes from 16 from the 4 squared times the 1/2, and then our t cosine squared t. Now ds for the arc length integral, the ds, the arc length, that we are going to calculate by finding the derivative of our path, which is this, taking the derivative term by term, and then finding the magnitude of that path. And for a helix, and this is part of the reason why the helix was chosen for this example, is the length of a helix eventually reduces down to a constant. So 16 cosine squared plus 16 sine squared is going to give you 16, and then 1/2 squared is going to give you 1/4. Find a common denominator, and then the square root of 65, which square roots often don't simplify in these problems, is there, but then the square root of 4 gives you 2. And then we combine that into our problem. ds is this value times dt. This was our function. And then we need to integrate this using integration by parts and a substitution for the cosine squared. So the first thing that I do is I pull all the constants out, and then I rewrite my cosine squared in terms of the power reducing identity. That's the 1/2 1 plus cosine 2t. And then if you distribute, and again, pull this 1/2 outside the integral, we are left with this expression. The first term obviously can be integrated by itself, but the second term will require integration by parts. And for the second term, I've set u equal to t and dv equal to cosine 2t. And this is going to result in the t integrates from the first term to 1/2 t squared. And then in the second case, the antiderivative of cosine 2t is the 1/2 sine 2t. That's our v function times t. And then in the second one, we would get a second integral that involved only the sine 2t and a constant, and then we would integrate that again, and we would end up with -1/4 cosine 2t. And from there, we can plug in the length of the path along this helix. We're going from 0 to 4 pi, so that's 2 times around the helix. And when we plug those values in, the square root of 65k was still outside. All these 1/2s canceled with the 2, and we're left with 16 pi squared, square root of 65 times k. Now, if k is 1, then this is approximately 1,273 mass units.